We're here at the Rice Creek Trails Association show for the first time ever at EJ's Bar in East Bethel. Let's check out the show. Lots of sleds, and yeah, there is some white stuff on the ground. All right, so we got a bunch of different classes here, and this would be the real oldies and unrestored. So got this beautiful Skeeter. My buddy, one of my buddies, the Bleegans, drove up on that. Craig Ekval has a really nice Motoski Capri. Chad Lurkey, you guys know Chad. He's been in my videos before. It's been a while, but he brought a bunch of stuff. So there's a super early Arctic Cat. We got an Abe Matthews Trailmaker, and this one says it was made in Hibbing, Minnesota, so it's a little bit of an earlier Trailmaker, earlier than the ones made in Mora. Now this is a super early Trailmaker here with the tin cab. For sure one of the first couple years of production until they made the fiberglass cabs. And another Trailmaker, another one of Chad's sleds, so really, really nice. All right, we got this beautiful, says it's a 68 Snowjet 200, and I can see from here, but I'll walk around. It's got a hearth in it, and those are always some interesting looking motors, kind of outboard looking when they're that early. They got more squared up later on the motors, but real nice original seat, beautiful. All right, here's one for Angus Wacker. We got a Boland's Diablo Rouge, and I saw him driving around, so his clutch hasn't blown up yet. These are the restored antiques. So this is Rachel Davids, I believe Pete's wife, which we talked to Pete about the Sears Hillary pretty recently. There's Pete's Arctic Cat 100. Some really nice Scorpions, really nice. They don't have their tags on them yet, but I can see this is a Mark II and a Mark III. So the Mark I was the shorty 15-inch track. This is a Mark II, which it says it right on it, and then the Mark III was the wider track, and you could see the angled seat base under this one. Just a bigger sled in general. So we got what looks like a 70, maybe a 71 EXT 340 there. Pretty cool. Mid-70s Cheetah, 74 or 5, somewhere around there. And then my buddy Rick's Stingerette. And Rick just did a bunch of work to get this thing ready, and we think we should get a video of Tommy riding the purple Stingerette later. All right, 78 SRX 440, Ron Lindbergh's. Ron brings some cool sleds out. That's great to see. And then we got a Columbia Trackmaster. And I don't see enough of these Columbias. They're always cool looking sleds. I love the metal flake hood. All right, I'm here with Rob Grover, who's got this Columbia Trackmaster. Rob, what year is this?
This one's a 1972 Columbia.
What motor do you have in this?
This one's the 400 J-Lo Rockwell.
Is it an axial fan J-Lo?
So, well, it has that J-Lo hum, so.
Yeah?
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Similar to a Scorpion motor then?
Right, it is, yep.
All right.
Yep.
And where were these made?
These were made in Columbus, Ohio, and they were made by MTD.
Like the lawn tractor?
It is, yep.
Really?
Yep. They made them 72 through 74, and all those sleds have the Rockwell motors. They did make 50 prototypes in 71, and those had anything from a Sachs to a Kohler to whatever. But this one's the Trackmaster, which means it's bogey wheels.
Okay.
The 72 SST had the gold hood, and that was a slide suspension. So
and they were all metal flake like this, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
I don't think I've seen one that wasn't.
Yep.
All right.
And this one here is an original one. I got it from an 84-year-old gentleman probably 12 years ago, 13 years ago. It was his wife's sled. Her name's still on the keychain.
No kidding.
I got it from him. He told me it had less than 3 tanks of gas ran through it from new.
Wow.
I have maybe another tank ran through it. I run it in a vintage ride every 3 years. He had a sign laying across here. nicked up the seat and digging into there. But yeah, he wanted $400 for this sled. And I asked him, is it a run? He goes, it's been 11 years since it run, but it'll run. And he shot some mixed gas down it, and he said it was running on one. He got upset with that, and he told me to give him $250 and get it out. So I got it for $250.
That's a bargain.
It did run on one cylinder. I thought it was points. I changed them, I cleaned them. It still ran on one. Discovered it was actually a coil that was out. So, but yeah, that's an original Columbia. And fortunate enough, it spent its life inside all the time.
This is an awesome sled, Rob. Thanks for showing it to us and giving us a little Columbia Trackmaster history there.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
All right, so this is my friend Steve's 1977 TX340, unrestored. Just a beautiful survivor. Look at that seat on it. You never see these anymore. That's pretty awesome. All right, we got Pete and Rachel's Suzuki's. We just showed you those at the blacksmith show. All right, Denny's 78 TX 440. He rode this from home. He's the only person to ride a sled from home today. Every other sled you see here is trailered, including Denny's other sleds. All right, there's my 78 TXL. And then there's Denny's 76 TX 340. And, you know, people often debate what was the better looking TX, whether it was the 76 340, the 77 340, or maybe the first year 77 TXL. I guess I don't care. I love them all. Those are awesome sleds. All right, my friend John Sina, of course, well known for his speedways, brought a speedway. My buddy Lance brought in this little TX 400, pretty sweet. All right, Leaf from the Boa Brothers, nice Boa ski there. Got another nice Articat. That is a Wankel 303. Beautiful 440 Freer snow jet there. And a 295 SST. Real nice. Looks like a Survivor Scorpion there. Metal flakes coming out of the hood real good. And another 290 Stinger. Super sweet gold metal flake Capri. Boy, they got them packed in here. We got another Panther. I can see from here that's a jack shaft Panther. And you can tell just by where and how the clutch is there. Chris Blegan brought his 73 Colt. Nice little sled. My buddy Chad's LT Gray. Also super nice. Got a lot of nice sleds here today for a small show. They're really packed in. All right, 74 John Deere JDX6. Got an Evolved Indy Trail for sale. I don't know how to contact them. And got this XC500 also for sale, but nice sled. Glad he put them in the show. Got a little Sport here, fan cooled. Skidoo. Brad's Ultra. So if you guys ever wondered what happened to that Ultra I had, well, this is it. It got sold to Brad, and we built it for Brad. Of course, the Groundhog's Day RXL with all its recurring problems over and over again. But Tommy drove it on and off the trailer, and here it is today. Beautiful 93 440, Indy 440. Nice. Super nice XLT special. Brandon brought this. We talked to Brandon at all the shows. All right, my buddy Chris has this XCR 600. So being in an aggressive chassis, this will be a triple pipe, case reed, ultra bass motor, and the bore is reduced to make it a 600. But they make the big jam. I believe they were rated at over 120 horse from the factory. Pretty good. You'd be working to get your piped, but otherwise stock Indy 650 up to that level. All right, we got another 94 Indy 440, early Evolved chassis. Monica's beautiful 500 SP Survivor, just beautiful. Out here by itself, the only one in the classic restored class, we have this monoblock 600 lightweight triple. So basically an XLT motor in an XCR with the Fox shocks and all the other XCR goodies. Pretty cool. Hey, we've been looking all day for Eric here because I was told I wanted to interview him about his sled, and he was told he wanted to get interviewed, so we've hooked up. Eric, look, let's start at the beginning. This is not the normal colors for 600 XCR of this year.
No, this is not. This is actually the way it came in the 95 snow check brochure. My dad snow checked the 95. This is a sled he snow checked, but it's not the one he got. They changed it to pink shortly, must have been shortly after pictures or whatever they did to get the snow check brochures out. And so, long story short, here it is.
So did you get custom decals made? Or?
Yes, we had worked with a guy that got reproduction decals made, and he nailed it. Did a perfect job on them. I decided not to do any of the tunnel decals just because I like bare tunnels.
Yep.
That's my 2 cents. But yeah, decided to do a full restoration on it. Everything from powder coat in the front end. I did the Fox shocks, restored all them. The seat is actually original yet.
No way!
The seat is original.
Wow.
And then just a few custom touches, and it turned out actually really nice.
All right, so the noise has subsided, and Eric and I are chatting. Well, that was actually Rick with the Mercadoo over there blasting. We were chatting about the motor. Eric, I got to see this.
Yeah, no problem.
So this is you said it's a PSI.
It is a PSI Genesis monoblock reed valve motor.
A monoblock Genesis.
Monoblock Genesis reed valve.
I don't think I've heard of this before.
In the 30 years I've been in this business, I have never seen one, only in pictures. So that's why I had to have it. So
there it is. It's got like the ignition system appears to be from an Ultra, really.
It's a Storm ignition.
Oh, it's a Storm. Okay, that
Yep.
makes sense.
PSI did all the work to it back in, I believe it was 95.
Okay.
The pipes, the motor, obviously the motor and stuff wasn't restored. And I believe they bored the carbs, Storm ignition, all that. The bill at PSI in 95 was over $6,200.
Holy crap.
That is why you don't see them.
And dial-a-jets?
It does have the dial-a-jets on it, and the gentleman I had got this motor from said that's exactly how it was ran, and he said it worked flawless. And so that's the way I kept it.
These are the high RPM mod blasters, obviously?
Yep, the motor, I believe, turns like 9,300.
Holy crap.
And to be honest with you, it is by far the fastest XLT I have ever rode.
I bet.
You know, it is very stout. I'm actually impressed.
I bet.
So, and I mean, I've got a few, monoblocks that are pretty stout, and this one by far takes a cake.
Do you have any idea what kind of dyno power it made, or?
According to PSI, now this is according to them.
Yeah.
They say it makes 155 horse.
Holy cow.
That is what they claim.
So same as an XCR 800 then?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yep. And to be honest with you, I haven't had much time because obviously the great winters we've been having.
Yeah.
I haven't had much time to ride it, but the little bit I have, I took it out to the lake and tested it, just jetting and stuff a little bit. And yeah, I would say they're probably not too far off on power wise.
Well, Eric, this is an incredible sled.
Yeah, it turned out really nice. And mind
So
you,
cool.
it could have been nicer, but I ride my stuff. So to me, this is a rider quality restoration.
Yeah.
But it's just every time I look at something, I'd be sitting in the shop and, it gets slow because we don't have any snow. And I look at it, I'm like, I should do this, I should do that. And then one thing led to another. And yeah, here it is. So it turned out really nice.
I love it. And I got to give people a close-up. So obviously we got the black tank on there.
Yep.
And then we got, look at that original seat. That's, people, this is what they're supposed to look like. Those heats are heat pleated in, not sewn.
Nope.
So incredible, Eric.
Yeah, it was a nice sled to start with, and then that's what made it that much nicer because, the tunnel's still original yet, the seat's still original, and obviously everything underneath the hood is still original and everything. So, yeah, it turns out really nice. So I can't complain.
That's awesome.
So.
Thanks for showing it
All
to
right,
us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sounds fantastic.
It's got the neatest sound I've heard.
Triples always sound nice.
Thanks, Eric.
With triple pipes.
Yeah.
Rat Rod class. I don't know what to say about this except for I like it, and I like that it's got a Polaris motor in it.
The nice seat.
The seat, oh, guy had some Harley parts hanging around, some Polaris parts, Skidoo chassis. He made a thing out of it, and I saw him driving it.
Look at the intake.
It's loud. This isn't the intake. That's the megaphone exhaust, Brad. Yeah, it's loud. All right, the Hillary Pete showed us this at the blacksmith show. Really cool. And my Scadaddler that I just a week ago rode at the Junkyard Dig show, and I love this sled. It's just a good sled. We got Rick's Dolphin. We got a couple Boa skis because the Boa brothers are out in force today. So there we go. Leaf and Tim have those out. Kitty cat, obligatory kitty cat, and my buddy Steve's little Playmate that I've actually seen him drive this around, like trail drive it a bit, and it's pretty neat. We may have to get a hold of him and ask him about these side stirrups. They sure look like they were added on to me. I've never seen them before. I think they added them on. All right, I'm here with Rachel Davids. You guys have met her husband, Pete. He has the Sears Hillary that we talked about at the blacksmith, and they are at all the shows, and they have some unbelievably cool sleds. And Rachel's got the Swinger here. Interesting name. Rachel, I don't know anything about these Swinger sleds. Where was this thing made?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And what kind of motor does it have?
It's a 230 J-Lo.
No way.
Yes.
It's a J-Lo. Can you open the hood? Can we show them what's going on under there?
Yes.
Well, holy cow. That sure as heck is a little J-Lo and a little tiny Salisbury clutch. Look at how clean this is. And can you see the gas mixing instructions even on the gas tank? Little tiny Donaldson muffler. Rachel, this sled is awesome.
Thank you.
Do you ride it ever?
Well, to and from the trailer.
Well, it's a show sled. All right. Well, cool. Thanks for showing it to us, Rachel.
Yeah, thank you.
We got Rick's Dolphin. We got a couple Boa skis because the Boa brothers are out in force today. So there we go. Leaf and Tim have those out. Kitty cat, obligatory kitty cat, and my buddy Steve's little Playmate that I've actually seen him drive this around, like trail drive it a bit, and it's pretty neat. We may have to get a hold of him and ask him about these side stirrups. They sure look like they were added on to me. I've never seen them before. I think they added them on to make it drivable by an adult. Pretty cool. Steve, the first thing I gotta ask was, it's got stirrups on it. Was the former owner a gynecologist?
Dr. I. Fitzwell.
Now, what's the real story on those? Do you know?
No, the guy I bought it from wasn't the original owner. Didn't put them on. I want to cut them off because they're so ugly, but I'm tall enough. When I ride it, they're just too comfortable to cut off yet.
They look like they're mandatory for any adult.
Pretty much, yeah.
What motor's in this thing, Steve?
This is still the 164 because this is a 69.
A 164?
Yep.
Is it a Fuji?
Yes, they recalled a lot of them because they had poor porting and put the 175 or the Husqvarna in them.
Okay. All right, cool. And it's all unrestored and original, right?
All original. The lights, everything works on it yet.
Wow.
Probably put more miles on this than anything else.
I've seen you ride it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks for showing it to us, Steve.
Anytime.
All right, so we're back in the custom class now, and this is John Sinas, of course, with this Yamaha motor, 540, I believe he told me it was, and cool rat fink. It feels like I'm showing you the same sled 2 shows in a row. Tommy's sled, his speedrun sled, you know, we did a whole series on this one on the channel. Is Marv Jorgensen's old PSI Genesis motor, and Tommy was hill climbing it. We converted it to speedruns with limited success. However, it did make a full pass without coming apart. All right, here's the Mercadoo. Rick brought this. This was actually the first sled that Tommy Zeller ever did a speed run on. He sort of built it up, and It's pretty cool. You know, Rick's a regular in the shop, but he's got Pete's sticker on there. We're gonna have to get another Speed Shop sticker on there, right? All right, Kyle Foss's Turbo Articat Winkle. You guys have seen this a bunch. It's super cool. Sounds great. He speed ran this at that Chisago race, but I didn't get the run. But we may have to find out how fast he went with it. More Boa Brothers. Leaf brought this one. It's kind of a neat old sled. And then this thing. I might have to get Chad out to talk about this. But in case I don't, I guess I'll talk about it right now. So our friend who's passed away, Cruel Paul, built this. And if you were involved in vintage sleds 20 years ago, you knew Cruel Paul. He built this as a what-if sled. Basically, he said, what if Articat had decided to make a rear-engine Panther? And so he literally went out to his scrap pile and built this with the help of his two sons. And so it's a real early, I think, 66, 68 it says on it, on the tag, I guess, 68 Panther chassis. And then he got a later Articat tunnel with a 15-inch track that fits inside. It's hinged up in the front. And here, Chad won't mind if I jostle it a little so you can see how it moves. That is the suspension, those leaf springs. Little one-lunger, little pusher. Super neat. Paul was a very creative guy, and he built a lot of really wacky custom vintage sleds, and this is one of his finest. Truly appreciate this sled. All right, they're still coming into the show. This is a new arrival way out on the edge. Not much snow underneath him anymore, but it's a 1971 Mark IV 400. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful restoration. The price is right, $950. I don't know. Here, you can feel free to call the guy if you want to know about it. But super nice sled. Beautiful rubber track, bogey wheel. Oh, there we go. All right, you know, I found my other Scadaddler brother here. It didn't take long. What's your name, sir?
Luke.
Luke, I love this. So you guys might remember Luke from the Elk River swap. We were looking at that, I think it's a 1400 XX that you had for sale, right?
Yep, that's exactly right, yeah.
And today you got this. How long have you owned this thing, Luke?
I've had this about 3 years.
Did you do the resto?
I did some of it. Some of the work was done. We did a lot of the decal work, some of the paint. We found some bumpers for it. Just, you know, whatever we could find at auctions, the decals for the dash. It's just always been a work in progress, yeah.
Well, it's mint. This is one of the nicest sleds here for sure. And I gave you guys Luke's phone number there. And if you want to buy it from him, he's seriously selling it. So.
Yeah, it's a blast to drive. I mean, it's a thrill a minute. Yeah, it's a fun machine. Donaldson muffler, sounds good. Yeah, just fun machine.
I'll tell you my observation about putting a lot of miles on different Scadaddlers is it is the best bogey wheel suspension I've ever driven.
They do, yeah.
They work really good.
Yeah.
So, cool. Well, thanks for showing it to us, Luke.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Greg's Lawn. You guys know this. We just finished this up last night at about 9 o'clock. It's running, driving, it's rocking. Of course, we did a whole video over at John Sina's on his collection. So you can go back and watch this for his Black Label Speedways. And of course, the 650. Sina's got quite the collection. And beautiful twister here with stinger pipes, super loud. Another snow jet, another thunder jet. We got some thunder jets today, folks. The race sleds are out in force. For this small town show, this is kind of incredible to see these. And the Boaski bar, another twister. And what's this? Is this an SRX or is it, yeah, SRX 440. It says 1976. So, super cool sled. Very rare to see that early of an SRX, at least for me. And of course, while we're talking about race sleds, you can't neglect the one that's nearest and dearest to my heart, the 1971 XX 1440. This is the same sled we showed you at the Elk River swap, and he rides it just the way it is, and he likes it this way, his dad says. It's a neat sled. You can see he's even got the original carbs on it. Those must have been just a blast to get them synced perfectly. But super cool sled. That is, let me take a peek. That is a cylinder reed 400 or 440 Hearth engine. So that's what the XXs had. They were the only ones with those Reed Hearth engines back in the day, and they went pretty good. So for my pick, for my favorite of the show, you know, right there's Nutter's pick. There's no trophy for it, but I absolutely love that thing. He doesn't want to take the hood off. There's a whole process. And then look at where the recoil is. Rob, show me that. I want to say a huge thanks to the Rice Creek Trail Association for putting this on, and for EJ's. For those that don't know, they really put this together in about a week. They had planned to use a different venue, and that venue fell apart. And, well, they got together and figured this out of nowhere. And as you can see, we were even blessed with a little snow that morning. So thanks for doing that, and thanks for everybody for showing up. And I want to say huge thanks to the patrons. For those who don't know, I run my channel membership off-site on an app and a webpage called Patreon, and it works just like a YouTube membership. For a little bit of money, you get to support the channel, you get to see all the videos early and ad-free, and you'll get, you know, member-only, patron-only videos over there on Patreon. So I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that shot a super thanks my way. That's awesome. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And I also want to say I appreciate everybody that shot us a PayPal donation or sent anything to the P.O. Box. You guys are great. I've got awesome fans, and I appreciate all of you. And, well, we'll see you at the swap meets and shows.